Hello and welcome, my name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you for joining me for our first in this week's stamp set of the week, Merriest of Trees. So we've gone for a simple card to start our week off. So no rushing into this week. So let us change cameras. There we go. So this is the card we're going to create. And this is the amazing stamp set that we are going to use. Merriest of Trees. You may recognize it. It did appear in last year's catalogue, but it has made its way through to this year's catalogue. So I thought I had great fun with it last year. We should have another go with it this year. So as normal, I have brought my piece of paper, which I have stamped up. So you get two main Christmas trees. So you get the outline or the infill and then some detail. And then there's lots of little dies, sorry, not dies, stamps. So you've got the tree trunk, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 presents, you've got, this is one stamp here, so this is Christmas baubles, you've got stars, you could have snowflakes, you've got ribbons, then you've got the words love and joy, to you and yours, we wish you a Merry Christmas and hope your home is filled with spirit of the season. So that is all the stamps. It does come with dies, and we will adventure with those in the rest of the week. I believe, let me check, I think it's 22. So it's 26 dies it comes with if you go for the dies as well. So let's just focus on the supplies for this card for the meantime. So I have got a piece of blueberry bushel, which measures 8 inches by 5 3/4, and as usual I have scored and burnished at the 4-inch mark. Let's give it another quick burnish. Okay, then I have 2 pieces of white cardstock, both exactly the same size, and they measure 3.5 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of scrap for the Christmas presents, and I have a piece of white for the sentiment. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this piece. I know it's unusual, but I thought we'd start there today. So I brought in no I'm not, I'm going to use the stars. So these are the stars of the lights, and I'm going to stamp those on the blueberry bushel base, but in Night of Navy. On the green one, I actually did it tone on tone, but I just wanted it a little bit darker. So what you need to do is you need to stamp all the way round the perimeter of your card base. There's no point in putting anything in the middle because you won't actually see it once the white card base is over it. There we go. So always remember when you're doing these kind of things to stamp off the page as well as on the page. It looks more of a natural flow that way. It just gives it's nicer to the eye. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. My husband and I popped over to the Isle of Wight for our weekend. But you always have to come back, don't you? It's one of our favourite places to visit. There we go. Just stamping away here, all the way round. I think this is probably the longest part of making the card. So even when you're doing it on the spine, make sure to stamp off the page. Okay, there we are. And I'm trying to turn the stamp as well as the page to, there we go, to give it a bit of a different little change. Right, now that we've done that, we can pop that aside. I'm just going to wipe that quickly because there's a lot of blue ink on there and I do not need to be wearing it. Sorry, my chamois is just squeaking away there. Okay, so that's that one done. So the thing to do now is to bring in our white piece of cardstock, and we are going to stamp up our base of our Christmas tree. So this is one big huge Christmas tree, which we're going to stamp in Blueberry Bushel. So take the ink pad to the stamp as it's so big, and then just stamp over it, making sure that you have got it covered. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it down. Oh, we've lost the signal. There we go, we're better now. It's focused on this bit, hasn't it? Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it up just a touch higher than before, and I'm just going to bring it down and bring it up. Oh, that's quite dark, isn't it? It's a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be, but I'm sure we can cope. So there's a lot of blue on my ink pad. So I've got some Stampin' Mist, not my ink pad, on my stamp. So I'm just going to spray my Stampin' Mist onto my stamp and then rub it down with my chamois. I've only got one of these large blocks because the stamps don't, you know, it's not one of the ones that you use regularly. So what I'm going to do is take that one off like so. Then I'm going to put that back into my box. There we go. And then we can bring the detail out. So let's put the detail. So there's the detail, and this time we're going to put the detail in with the Night of Navy. So Night of Navy, again the ink pad to the block rather than the other way around. Tap it, there we go. And then I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to hover this over the top, so let's see, and see what we can find. See, my fingers are already blue. It's a good start to a Monday, isn't it? There we go. So if I bring it up slightly closer, you can see the detail on there. Lovely. Okay, so the next thing to do is I'm terrified of getting blue everywhere. I'm just going to spray that down quickly. There we go. Because it's so big, you just don't want to end up with all over your Christmas cards, do you really? Okay, so we can pop that aside now. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in crumb cake and the trunk of the tree. So I'm going to tap it, the pointy end, face up. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end for the pointy end to go just into that section there. Okay, so here we go, and down. It's roughly in the centre, a little bit squished, or as one of my friends would say, a blind man would be pleased to see it. So anyway, so now that we've done that, so the thing to do next is to add our detail using our embossing folder. So I've used the wood grain one here. So remember, line facing up, you can then put your tree down, or your piece of cardstock down, and then you can run that through the embossing folder die and cut machine. Now bear with me while I do that. I'll just pop it on pause for 2 seconds. Okay, and then once we've done that, we can take it out, and there it is with our detail on it. That can now be attached to our card base, and I'm going to use my multi-purpose as usual. Because the edge is quite raggedy, I'm going to put on a little bit more than normal glue wise, because I want to make sure it sticks down. There we go. Perfect. Right, so that's stuck down for me. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my scrap. So that was the one for my sentiment, and that's my scrap. And I'm going to stamp out 3 presents. So let's see what we've got. So we have got crumb cake. So let's do that one with the crumb cake. So that's straight down. There we are. So there's the crumb cake. Then I'm going to do Night of Navy with the 4 boxes. Oh, she says putting her finger straight in the ink. I do hope this doesn't say how the rest of my week is going to go. And then the last one is the lined one, which I'm going to do in the blueberry bushel. Now, if you haven't got the dies, the advantage of these presents is that you can cut them out with a pair of scissors, because there's just straight lines. So let's go. There we go. Straight down on all of them. That's one. Okay, then we've got the square. Yeah. It's always nice to revisit Christmas trees. It's always nice to revisit your old stamp sets, because you can always come up with more ideas, because there's something you've probably done during the rest of the year that you hadn't done the previous year, especially when you're doing Christmas cards. So there we go. Have you started making your Christmas cards yet? Or is it just a little bit too early still? Okay, so that's that. And then I'm going to stamp in the crumb cake my sentiment. And my sentiment basically says Merry Christmas, and it's from an old stamp set. So it's always quite good. I mean, I keep quite a few stamp sets that I don't particularly want to get rid of, and sometimes the sentiments are perfect for the card. There we go. So they've got the Merry Christmas on there. Right, what I'm going to do now is cut that down with my trimmer. Just make sure I've got enough space for it all. There we go. And then turn it sideways. I don't want it to be too thick. There we are. Right. So what I'm going to do is my Merry Christmas is going to sit right down here at the bottom. I'm going to raise it up with dimensionals, but I'm only going to use 2, one at either end, because I shall be poking some Christmas presents down behind the banner. So there's 1 and there's 2, and I'm just going to pop that onto there like so. Then we've got our Christmas presents, so we can just add a dab of glue. Come on. I had this problem on Thursday when I was doing my coffee and cards. The presents, the glue just wouldn't come out. The previous Saturday I had been doing, I'd had a card class of 12, myself and my upline Jenny. We did a quarterly card class. And so there was lots of glue and sticking and great fun going on. Okay, so there are the 2 presents stuck down, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put dimensional in the middle of this one, and that will raise the present up, and I'm going to line it up with the sentiment. There we go. Right, so the other one had a bit of bling, so let's see what we've got bling wise, what we can add to it. A little bit of sparkle. I always like a bit of billing at Christmas. Now, it's not particularly sparkly, but I do like it. And I'm just going to pop it in the middle there. Perfect. And then we've got our inside layer to add. Okay. And as usual, I'm just going to attach that with a bit of Stampin' Seal. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could put a couple of presents inside or a sentiment. But on this occasion, we're going for just the plain inside. So we will be back again on Wednesday with our second card. And then hopefully on Friday, we will have another funky fold. So here are our 2 cards. I hope you like those. As I say, if you've got this Merriest of trees, it's worth digging down into your old stock and pulling them out, or you will find them in our annual catalogue for this year. So thank you ever so much for joining me. For whatever you do for the rest of the day, stay safe and happy crafting. Take care, everyone. Bye.